Okay, guys, we are live with Elite Dangerous Horizons. I don't know if you guys have ever played this. I can't even see my other screen, so I don't know if anybody's even watching this. But whatever, this is a great game. If you have not, I didn't play it back in the day when it first came out, and I'm talking like years and years ago. But for a VR game, if you guys want a very well made, well thought out, robust um, VR game, this is the one. And as I said in the description, I'm about 70 hours into this game, and I got to tell you, dude, it's awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit continue. The only the only gripe I have right now is in the options, my graphic settings that affect the monitor. This setting here and this setting here, and my refresh rate. For whatever reason, these don't stay. It always defaults back to a lower resolution with a windowed screen. And but small price to pay for such a great game. There's several different options for you to play, but it seems like open play is like the. I mean, there's campaigns, there's scenarios that you can play, but open play seems to be the one that everybody wants to jump in on. So you have as you start off in the game, you start off with a ship called a Sidewinder, which I no longer have, but I'll give you an idea of what that ship's about. It does use Oculus Touch controllers. This is the Sidewinder. This is the ship you start off with. And I'm not going to go and explain. This game has so much detail in it. If you're not a detail-oriented person and you don't like to learn a bunch of details about the games you're playing, this is not the game for you. Because this game has everything. And I'm just going to scroll through some of these ships. This is the ship that I'm currently using right now, Cobra Mark III. But as I was saying, as you can see, looking through some of the details here, you have to monitor everything about your vessel or your ships. But like your top speed, you know what? Let's get out of this part of it. Let's go into outfitting. That's my ship. And yes, I did purchase that paint job. Some of the things like your livery, you you spend real money on. As you can see, my balance is 3 million for you. That's nothing. That is nothing. I've had 8 million before, and you can spend that in seconds. And you can't. This is not a pay-to-play game. You cannot buy ships with real money. You can't buy weapons and such with real money. Um, the only thing you spend money on is appearance of your vessel. Um, like that paint job. I have the onion head paint job. It came in a package. This is the default paint job that you get one free paint job from when you start the game. But if you want any of these other paint jobs on your ship, you have to spend what's called arcs. And as you can see up there in the top right hand corner of the screen, um, I've I've probably spent about maybe 40,000 arcs so far, and they're not super expensive. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I want to talk about the game. But you can get packages of various things, and you can see the different paint jobs. That's the one I'm currently using, and then there's that one. And the decals are representative of things. These aren't just. Oh, I just canceled my paint job. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Then you got the decals that go on your ship. And the one right there in the front, yes, that one I paid for, but it was like nothing. You can see, I think it was like $100. Yeah, 100 arcs for that particular, and I can buy others if I should so choose. But I like that one. All right, so but these decals you get for free as you rise in rank. Like my trade rank is now merchant. I'm about to jump up to the next rank, whatever that is. I don't know yet. My explorer rank, and that's the decal. They look very similar, but if you notice, the explorer rank kind of has a crescent moon on the bottom right hand side, whereas your trade rank has I leaves, I guess you could call them, and the little chevron, upside down chevron is a little bigger, but you gain these icons, your trade and your rank icons. You get those for free, or decals. You get those for free. So, but you can still purchase other. I believe you can purchase other decals. I know you can purchase other decal formats. Ship kits. The basic ship. Let's show you what my ship looks like. Your basic ship without any, and yes, you have to purchase the ship kits as well. And again, this is the only thing you have to spend money on, and that's one of the things I love about this game is they designed it so you can't spend $50 and get 100 million credits and then go out and buy ships. You can't use ARX for anything else other than decorating your ship. That's all ARX is for. Okay, so this is your basic ship. And that's what it looks like. Just plain Jane, without, I mean, of course, the paint job, but I'm talking about without all the wings and bumpers and whatnot. So I purchased a package. This is a different package that you can purchase, the Raider pack, which I have not purchased because that looks way too much like. And as you see, there's 18 items in this pack, and that costs 13,520 parts. That reminds me of I forget what they were called in the show Firefly. Yeah, that reminds me entirely too much of, and I think that's why they did it. I think that's awesome. But so anyway, and you have your different choice of your kit. Kit comes with 4 different bumpers, spoilers, wings, and tails. So you have like a bunch of different choices. So let me go back to that's the spoiler I want to use. And that's my wings. Wait. How come it didn't take me to my tail? There we go. And that's the tail. And finally, last but not least, and that's one bumper, that's the other. I used that one for a little while, but we're going to go with that little unobtrusive one right there. So that's your ship kits. Then you have the various identification. They only give you 3 different choices as far as like visibility on these. You have no. You have black, kind of gray, and then a white, and that's the only choice you get on all of your. And you get to choose down here. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, you get to choose your own name and ID plate, and you can name it anything. And I've seen like 5 different ships named Rocinante if you guys have ever watched The Expanse, which is a great show. But and yes, that was my first choice for ship name, but I thought I just knew that there was going to be a ton of people out there with that name, so I chose Mors Navus, which is Latin for death ship, roughly translated. So, and no, it's not a death ship yet. I am not very good at combat in this game yet, but I'm working on it. And then you have cockpit accessories, which you have 10 slots across your dashboard where you can put items. The only things that I have purchased was a pack of hologram letters and numbers. And you can't really see it, but back behind this panel is slot 1, and then it goes across to, and you can buy all kinds of stuff. You can buy little, let's go back to a slot you can see. Like, okay, so dashboard 4 is right there. And they're just little things you can put on your dash. Mostly just various bobbleheads. I just pledged to Aisling Duval. I don't know if she has her own bobblehead. I don't think so. These are what the classic ships like. That's what the Cobra ship used to look like when I'm flying. What this ship is now, I have the Cobra Mark III, but in the original game, that's what the Cobra looked like. So, but that is ridiculously expensive. I don't even know what a Trident looks like. But you can get Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. There's Mars, no, that's Venus. And then other various little game. And there's Earth. And the sad thing is, somebody controls the Sol sector. And in case you guys don't know, let me tell you about this a little bit about this. Okay, this game, the galaxy, the universe in this game is to scale, and you'll see what I mean when I launch out of here in just a minute. There is political factions, power plays. Sorry, I had to take a drink. I don't know what half this stuff is. Of course, Earth costs more. Sorry, I have the hiccups now all of a sudden. Excuse me. I don't know what any of this stuff is, dude. Half this stuff. That's a nav beacon. Generally, you'll find one of these in any populated sector or system. Rather, sorry, I have hiccups. See if I can get rid of those. I don't have a. Oh, there they go. No, that's not a. I thought that might have been a Cobra. It's not. And then you can get kind of the balloon alphabet as well. Oh, there we go. That's the Cobra Mark III. That's the ship I'm in. So anyway, that's your livery. Now you've got this particular ship has 2 medium hard points, which you see right there in the front. One is the cannon, and every slot on every ship has a class. And when I tell you that this ship is, or this game is so detailed, I mean it. And you can tell by the dot that's in the upper left-hand corner of each weapon group, or I should say tool group. Each category has a class, and the slot, I have 2 medium class 2 hard points, and then I have 2 small class 1 hard points, which I have 2 gimbal beams. Beams are good against shields. Cannons and missiles are good against the hull. So once you get the shields down, then you start shooting them with the heavier artillery. But we're not going to go spend a lot of time with that. We're just going to briefly touch on these. Utility points are external mounts. I don't know. The Sidewinder, I think, only has one external mount or utility mount. And I've got a shield booster on one and a point defense turret on the other. And there's other things you can put out there. You can put scanners so that you can scan wakes. Your ship leaves a wake when you jump into super cruise or engage your hyperdrive, which that is under core eternal with the frame shift drive. And the class is forward, but the ratings are different. Like I could purchase this would be the absolute for this ship. This would be the absolute top of the line is the 4A. But right now I've got the 4B, and that's plenty. And I'm saving up my credits because I'm thinking about buying another ship. Let's talk a little bit more. You've got your bulkheads, which is basically your hull. For this ship, there are other bulkheads available, like mirrored and reactive, but as you can see, your resistance, kinetic resistance would be like against missiles or cannons, fragment cannons, rail guns. Thermal resistance is against lasers. Explosive is like torpedoes and missiles. So obviously, I went with what is going to give me something in each class, as opposed to like the reactive. I'm absolutely have no thermal resistance whatsoever. The lasers do affect the hull, but it's a very small percentage of damage that lasers do to a hull, unless you have this armor or this hull, and that would be, as you can see, a 100% drop in thermal resistance. That means they can use their lasers and their cannons and missiles and other kinetic type weapons to damage my ship's hull once they get past my shields. And as you can see, there's sensors, power distributors, and everything has an effect. And if you look at the bottom, you have to monitor your power plant. Right now, I've got the top line. This is the biggest and best for this ship that I can get is a 4A, because as you can see, this is a class 4 slot, and I have the class 4A rated power plant. So the maximum power that this ship can produce is 15.60 megawatts of power. And every system on your ship draws power. As you can see, my thrusters pull 4.51 megawatts of power. And if I want to change something, like if I want to get the 4A thruster, well, they only have 4A thrusters. Let's see, the frame shift. If I wanted to put in that frame shift drive, you can see that's going to increase my power draw from 15.09 megawatts deployed to 15.16, which I could do. I could upgrade, and I would still have plenty of power. And what happens if you overdraw your power is other systems will start shutting down, and you even have control over which systems take priority over which other system. And I'll show you that in a moment. But life support, it's a class 3 slot, and I just upgraded to the 3B at a different station because that's the highest one they had. So I went from 7 minutes to 15 minutes. I don't remember what I had before. And you can change, you can exchange when like, I'm gonna go ahead and buy this 3A life support just so I can, if I do happen to overdraw, which I'm not, because nothing in my ship is gonna, I usually don't allow my ship to draw more power than it can produce, but that may happen, that may happen down the line. I don't know. But what happens is if say life support is one of the systems that shuts down based on how you have your modules configured for priority, then your emergency life support will kick in, and if with this one, I'm gonna go to exchange, and you see there's a nice little difference in price. If I buy this straight out and I store this 3A life support unit that I currently have installed, then I would pay 158,000 credits as opposed to exchanging it and paying only 94,000, which I'm going to exchange. Okay, so now this ship's life support is maxed out, and I have 25 minutes of emergency life support. So if I'm in battle, and let's say I purchase some system like um, let's say I get rid of it. Yeah, now see, look at my deployed. I'm 0.21 megawatts over what my system can draw if I install a second set of missiles. And I'm not going to do that, but if I did, some of my systems during combat are going to shut down, and one of those systems would be life support. I would still have 25 because of this upgrade here. I would still have 25 minutes of emergency life support left, even with my life support system down. So even if I'm in combat and my modules get damaged, like say my life support module gets damaged. Sorry, I took a turn trying to get rid of these hiccups. But let's say my life support gets damaged. I have 25 minutes of life support left. So if I do survive the battle, but I'm on emergency life support, I can still make it to a carrier or a station or somewhere and get repairs done. Let's see what their sensors. Do they have any? They've got 3A sensors. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade them. That is gonna take me right to the limit. As you can see, 15.53 megawatts deployed, and my max is 15.6. So, and again, there's that price difference. So I'm using about 90. I'm going to say 99% of mine. And as you can see, like I said, this game is so detailed. You've got total mass. You can see the difference. For example, if you go into the frame shift drive, which, as you can see, my top speed and my boost speed will both increase. Now your mass, if you look at up at the top right-hand corner, you can see the integrity, mass, class, and rating of each item that you're looking at. My currently installed one weighs 16 tons. If I upgrade this, I'll lose 6 tons of mass. That's what increases my speed, both my boost and my top speed. The integrity of both is, no, how come my integrity didn't change? The integrity of this, what the integrity is if they do get past your shields and they start damaging your hull, if their armor piercing rating is greater than your armor rating, then they can start doing damage to your modules. And the integrity is what determines how much resistance it has to damage. So the 4B has more integrity, but it also has more mass. And as you can see, your optimized mass, which I haven't quite figured out exactly what that is yet, but the max fuel per jump will go up. That means I can use more fuel per jump, which means I can jump farther as well, which you can see that down at the very bottom of the screen with your jump minimum, current, and maximum. And your minimum means with the absolute lowest amount of mass that your ship can carry, I can jump 17 points. My minimum is 17.43. My current is 19. With my current setup with this ship is 19.51 light years, and my maximum with the bare minimum of the ship is 20.44 light years. I don't think I have anything in my cargo hold at the moment, but we'll have to check that in a minute. I'm getting way into too much detail here on the internals. Let's talk about optionals a little bit. This is where you're going to find your shield generators, your cargo racks. I don't think they have any. I think 4E is the highest cargo rack that I can get. It's the biggest one I have found for this ship is the 4E. I don't know if they make 4D, C's, B's, and A's. I've never seen anything but a 4E. So, and you can see, like, this class 2 slot, if you look at the 2 dots underneath the number 2, one of them is dark and one of them is not. That means I'm not. I have only a class 1 item in a class 2 slot because I have yet to find a limpets of any kind that are above class 1. As you can see, they all have a 1 dot on them, the limpets. And what the repair limpet controller does is I can carry, but they take up cargo space. And as you can see, I only have 36 with those 2. That's 32 with the 2 4Es. I've got one 2E cargo rack that has a 4 capacity, which gives me a total of 36 slots to carry cargo in. It's not a lot, but this ship is not a cargo ship. You can transport a minimum amount. They have cargo ships, and you'll see those too. But the repair limpets allow me to either repair somebody else, like if I respond to a distress call that I find out in the universe somewhere, and somebody needs a repair, I can fire a repair limpet at them, and it will repair their ship. To a certain degree, it doesn't repair a whole lot at one time. I have had my ship down to 2%, and it took me 6 limpets to get me back up, just up to like 60%. So it's not a whole lot of repair, and like I said, I don't know if they even make higher class repair limpets, but they take up cargo space. So if I'm carrying 36 limpets, then I can't carry anything else until I use up some of those limpets. If I use up 1 limpet, then I have 1 free cargo slot. The flight assist controllers, these 3 items here, planetary approach, advanced docking, and super cruise assist, those come with every ship. I've never found anything higher than a 1E rating or 1I rating on a planetary approach. And I have traveled to 188 different systems and have yet to find. Of course, I haven't stopped in a port in every single system. I do scan every single system. Oh my God, this game is so detailed. All right, let's get out of, and then that's livery. We already went through that. Stored modules. You can store up to 120 modules in various starports around the galaxy. I've made this system that I'm in, this QBO is the headquarters for the senator that I have pledged my allegiance to just earlier today, in fact. But these are the items, and I've moved them from my previous home location. Unfortunately, I can't use either one of these because this ship doesn't have any class 3 slots. I could. Why would I get rid of my shield my class 4 shield generator? I'm not going to. Do they even have a 4A shield generator? Nope. Class 3 is the highest one they have. They don't sell any class 4 shield generators. So, and I haven't found one, obviously, which I probably couldn't afford the power to upgrade my shield generator anyway. But, oh, by the way, down here at the bottom left, right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see insurance cost. That is, if your ship is destroyed out in space, that's what you're going to have to pay to get it back to the exact specs that you have now. Whatever cargo you have, if you're carrying limpets or whatever, you'll have to restock those. But that's how, if my ship, the base with all the weapons and the livery and everything else, that's what it would cost to get my ship back. All right, let's go back to the main screen here, and as you can see, this is the starter ship. They give you this for free. They give you weapons and such for free, and when you upgrade your ship and you decide to sell this one or sell the components off of it or whatever, yeah, it's all loaner stuff, and you don't get any credits for that. That's a basic trader vessel. This is the Cobra Mark III, and as you can see, it's funny that it costs more than what my insurance covers, but that's what you, that's the base model right there. You've got two 1F pulse lasers, which are taking up a class 2 slot, and then you got two empty small hard points, which are class 1. It doesn't come with anything on the utility mounts, and as you saw, it's got 3 class 4 optional internals, some class 2s, but this is what they give you to start with on that ship. So I'm considering purchasing this. This is a passenger transport vessel. There's so much you can do in this game. You can focus on mining, you can focus on combat, you can focus on passenger transportation. There's just so much that you can do. And one of the reasons that I pledged my allegiance to the senator that I have pledged to is because she is an Imperial supporter. She supports the Empire, and I like the Empire ships. There's the Clipper, and you have to have a rank in the Empire, or Baron or higher, to even buy that ship. That's the one that really caught my attention. There's another one somewhere at a different station that you can get, but and these last two here are more passenger ships. But as you can see, yeah, that's 84 million credits, which really would not take you that long. There's multiplayer in this game, which I have not even explored yet. Oh, by the way, that's my adder named Jalopy 1. That's my little mining vessel, which I just moved. Sorry. I've just now moved that ship here from my other location. All right, let's talk about starports. This is the starport that we're in right now is, as you can see, there's a holographic image of it in green right there on the bottom left of the screen. I think that's an Orbis class starport is what it's called. But as you can see, Iselin Duval this is her headquarters, and that's who I am pledged to. And we'll talk about, let's close that screen. As you look around in VR, if you focus on that's your chat window, and you get messages constantly. I keep mine deleted. Supposedly you can do multi-crew in this ship, but I can't hire NPCs to work on this ship. History of contacts that you've made. Squadrons, if you're in a squadron, which costs 10 million to create your own, or you can join somebody else's. My focus disappears. It's very limited as far, if you move your head slightly, you're going to lose focus. But that's your settings for your various channels. You can tab certain chat channels or whatever. The problem that one thing I hate about this game is there's no in-game keyboard, and there's no voice to text. So if I want to say something to Maine, or respond to somebody directly, then I have to type it on my keyboard, which I'm sitting at my desk. My keyboard's in front of me, but I can't see it. So another thing you can do is you can, I don't know, you guys are still only seeing my screen, but if I wanted to, I could, I call it tabbing out. I don't know exactly what it's called, but okay. But I've taken my little side pads off of my headset, so I can kind of see underneath my VR visor, so I can see my keyboard, because I can't type without seeing my keyboard. Some people can, and I'm sure if I practice at it some more, I could. I've been typing for years. I can type really fast. I'm just not comfortable typing. I still have to look at the keyboard. So you have two panels on the side. This one handles your anything that's navigational related. This tab will control it. Most of what you see in this sector are carriers like these. Those are carriers. Um, there are some starports in here. We'll look at the map here in just a minute. Transactions, any fines, missions that you're on, passengers you're carrying, any bounty claims you might have, or search and rescue claims, all that stuff will show up here. Any fines you've accumulated, which I have accumulated a couple, and I pay them off. And the same thing with bounties. I had a 4,400 credit bounty against me at one point for attacking. I was trying a mission, and there's so many different factions in this game. Any contacts that are currently in the system, you'll use this screen at any star point you come up to, because you have to request docking permission to dock. There is auto docking. There's a whole ton of stuff. The other panel over here is about you. You can access the squadron screen here, where you can create, as I said, it's 10 million credits to create a squadron, or you can browse current squadrons, which I'm not currently a part of any squadron, which I haven't taken time to do look at any of this stuff. Not to any great extent, but I've never joined a squadron. I don't have any friends on Steam. I don't have any friends in this game or any of my games. In fact, just because I don't know anybody that's a gamer. So, and I don't really care to either. I'm kind of a loner. So then you have your codex. This is where you will sit and learn about this game. Here you can look at your session logs, everything that's happened to you. As you can see, there's a couple of different stats, and you can get more detailed stats on your character here. Anything that's been archived, which I don't understand yet what that is, because I mean, generation ships. Come on, dude. I've purchased 2 ships in this game. I don't even know what a generation ship is. Yes, you can purchase carriers and all that other stuff too, but I'm nowhere near that. Discoveries. These are discoveries. As you can see, the inner Orion spur of our galaxy. This is the Milky Way, also known as Sagittarius A. This is where you start off at. I have not been to any other sector of this or region of this galaxy, but you can use the codex to, for example, somebody has reported a Type G giant in these various locations, and when you find something that isn't in the codex, it gets added, and it gets like this one here was reported by Angelus 187, and it was confirmed. By Rare Juliet. So these are things you can do. If you want to be an explorer, you can use this part of the codex to go to these various sectors where things are reported and make confirmations. Gas giant planets, terrestrial planet, all this. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff in this game. All right, so that's discoveries. Knowledge base. This is where you find out about the various factions and aliens, and there's like the Thargoids, the individuals. And the cool thing is you can take like each section, like I want to learn about the Empire, but I don't want to sit here and read for hours. Well, you can add this. Let me check on something real quick before I add this. Okay, yeah, my playlist is currently empty. Okay, so you can go to the codex, and anything that's in the knowledge base, like introduction, you can add it to your playlist. History, add it to your playlist. Society, military, And this is all about the Empire, which I am now pledged to a senator who is a member of the Empire. And to be quite honest with you, I only did it because I thought she was hot, and I'll tell you, I'll show you that in a minute. But the Alliance, the Guardians, the Empire, the Federation, the Alliance, individuals, um, every one of these, and this is who I am pledged to. And once again, you can add that to your playlist as well. All of this stuff. And then you've got the pilot's handbook. Now, unfortunately, this stuff you have to read, and this is tells you how to do mining, piracy, mercenary. If you want to hunt aliens, this tells you how your maps work. Fleet carriers. I haven't even read all of this stuff yet. Crime and punishment tells you all about bounties, and it gives you the basics on, and all this stuff is very basic. They have video tutorials online if you want to know more specific. Yeah, that's my character. More specific information. So that's the codex. Hallow Me is where you go and change your character's look, gender, uniform, tattoos, whatever. Training, you'll go through that when you first enter the game, or if you need a refresher course on how, and you will hit that at least twice. I mean, I'm a pretty hardcore gamer, and I had to hit that twice myself. Engineers. These two engineers, once you leave the training section, and I'll show you that on the galaxy map here in a moment, but once you leave, you will get sent invitation in your messages, and your like email, I guess you can call it, and they'll give you. See, I learned about Todd the Blaster through common knowledge. You gain access to him because I earned 15 bounty vouchers, and because the Pilots Federation exploration rank is Scout or higher. The Pilots Federation, and again, I'll show you this and I'll talk more about that on the galaxy map. That's the faction that you are associated with when you first start the game. When I left, I didn't realize when I left this training area that if you dock at another station outside the training area, that tells the game, hey, you're ready to go out in the world, and you no longer have access to the training area. You lose there are certain sectors you have to have permits to get into, and you lose your Pilots Federation permit for those training systems. I need to try. I don't know where meta alloys are. I haven't completed that section. Same thing with. I haven't provided him 100,000 credits worth of bounty vouchers yet. I just haven't done that. I went off in exploring the galaxy. I don't know anything about these other engineers, but if you hit engineer help, that will give you basic information about that and what engineers do for you. And let's go back to this panel to talk about that. In your inventory, you'll notice that you have materials that you can collect through salvage out in space. And I'll show you how to do all that stuff here in a few minutes as well. But you've got all these different materials. You've got encoded data. And all of these work together to create upgrades for your ship if you have an engineer that can do that for you. Then you have synthesis, and you can create certain things on the fly, like my cannon. I think that's the small caliber munitions. But as you mine and you collect or not as you mine, as you collect materials from salvage operations, which is not hard at all, but you collect these various items, then you can synthesize certain things. And if you see the three columns off to the side, you've got basic, basic, standard, and premium. Well, I have 18 heat dispersion plates, but I have 0 chromium, 0 Guardian power conduits, and 0 Guardian wreckage components. Um, the Guardians are another alien faction that I haven't read about yet, so, but I know what they are. I'm aware of what they are. But standard phase alloys, I've got 3 of those. It requires 2. But these are if I wanted to create ammunition for my plasma cannon, which I don't have a plasma cannon right now. But it gives you a brief little rundown at the top. Materials can be used by your ship to synthesize ammunition. Yeah, my focus gets off of this really quickly. Basic synthesis provides half a weapon's ammo capacity, blah, blah, blah. You can read all that stuff if you get into this game yourself. And then I don't have any cabins, so I'm not carrying passengers. That's your inventory screen. This is your basic inventory screen where whatever you're carrying on your ship will be listed here. So, and to show you, to stock up on things like limpets and whatever, you have to come to the advanced. I'm gonna go ahead and max out my. And yes, your paint job, you have to. You don't have to, but if you look at some other people's ships, you'll see their paint is like all chipped and worn off and beat up, and I don't. It's because I think some of these players don't realize that you can repair your paint job. But advanced maintenance, I'm going to go to restock, and as you see, there's my limpets. Each limpet costs 101 credits. I'm going to go ahead and just buy 6 because I want to keep this. I want to keep my 30 slots for carrying propaganda material for the senator that I'm pledged to. So let's exit out of this. And now if we go back to the inventory screen, you can see that I'm now carrying 6 limpets. And those are repair limpets. And I can use those on my ship or on somebody else's. As you can see, there's a HUD. Half of the HUD for combat is up right now. You can see the bottom, or over to the right there, it says point defense turret. I've got 10,000 rounds. 12 are loaded in the magazine, but I have 10,000 available. And that's what shoots down any missiles that gets, as long as the bottom of my ship or the side, front, or back is relatively in position to shoot that down. My point defense turret is loaded on the bottom of my ship. So it will destroy any missiles that get fired at me. You can change your combat mode. Right now I'm in analysis mode. I can't, because I'm docked, I'll explain more about that in a minute. I can't change my fire group, which right now my fire group is my cannon, missiles, and my lasers. And let's go back to this screen and we'll show you the fire groups. And you can trigger 1, will fire my 2 beam lasers, and that will deplete an enemy's shields. And then once their shields are down, I can start firing my missiles and my cannon, which the missiles are seekers, so they're fire and forget. The cannon is gimbaled, so it has tracking assist. If you can also get turrets, which are fully automated. Sorry, I have a hard time staying focused on things for some reason. My next fire group is my data link scanner, composition scanner, and discovery scanner. Well, discovery scanner you use for exploration. You hit that one time when you come into a system. It will give you a basic rundown, and we'll go over that when we get out in space. You'll see that. I'll tell you more about that later. And then my fire group C is the repair limpets. And you can change these very quickly, fire groups, with a button combination on your touch controllers. I have the Oculus Rift. I know it sucks. I wish I'd never bought it, but I didn't know much about VR headsets. And what cursory research I did, the Rift S seemed like a good choice, and it was within my price range, so that's what I bought. But your Oculus Touch controllers, you can pretty much do every single thing you need to do with them, but not everything. For example, your full spectrum scanner. Once you get out, you have to hit on my configuration, it's the apostrophe key on my keyboard. Fortunately, I can hit that without looking at my keyboard. Modules. This is where you control, this is where you control the priority of every module on your ship. And as you can see at the bottom, yeah, like I said, I'm at 99% of my power usage. My output 100%, my usage is at 99. So currently none of my systems will go down if I enter combat or deploy my weapons or any of my scanners or anything like that. None of my systems will go down. But these are all the modules, and you can control them. The ones that have no priority, like the canopy, the power plant, that kind of stuff, those are not affected. But the rest of these, oops, and as you can see, the line at the bottom tells which category, and you can change the priority of every single module on your ship. The ship tab. These are your ship functions. You want to turn your external lights on and off. See, the lights are on. And I can't show you, I can show you the external camera, but because I'm in the hangar, I can't get around to the front of the ship. But once you're out of the hangar, then I can do all that. And so we'll turn off those lights, and as you see, the lights are now off. Night vision, you can't really tell that in the hangar. Again, that's something else, but every single thing, if you get lost out in space, and let's say you run out of fuel, which you do have, there are fuel scoops. My ship does have a, where's it at? I do have a fuel scoop, by the way, right there. And it's in priority group 1, which it doesn't really need to be in priority group 1. We can actually put that in 4. Alright, so those are your ship functions. These are your flight assist computer. You want your flight assist to be on. Auto dock, I've recently been practicing with docking manually, but I still leave that on, and it only kicks on if you throttle completely down when you're once you have docking permission and you throttle completely down within 7,500 meters of a station, then auto dock will kick in and it will land you and take off. There's auto launch that'll take off automatically. All of this stuff, I'm going to turn that off, because I was wondering why, when I was out in space. We'll try that once I get launched. But those are your flight assistants. This is your preferences. You can turn the brightness of your interface up and down. The display clock is that right there in your information panel, which you'll see when contacts show up on your radar. When you target a system for hyperdrive, it will give you information like what star is in that system. If there's any economic information, that'll all be displayed here. Orbit lines, that shows when you enter a system, that'll turn the lines of any orbiting body like planets or whatnot off and on. I'm not sure what exactly. I haven't changed that yet, but I'm sure that has something to do with zooming in and out. The sensor is right there in front of you, and we'll talk more about that once I launch. So we want to leave that on leading. And if you turn this on and then you go into training, you will definitely have to use your keyboard, because there are several things that it wants you to do that require keyboard commands. I just leave the flight checks off because everything works, and I know it works. This is your ship stats, your shield health, your current jump range versus your unladen jump range, which my limpet's weighting stuff, so that determines my weight of the ship and how far I can jump. Shield health, how much kinetic, explosive, and thermal resistance I have. My current armor health, my armor rating is 35, and what my kinetic, explosive, and thermal and caustic resistance. I haven't come across anything that would eat away at my sure. I'm sure there's probably some sort of acid out there or something, maybe from aliens. I don't know. But that's the basics of what you see in front of you. This little hologram on the bottom right here is the three rings are your shield around your ship. That's your ship, and the percentage underneath is your hull. You can also adjust your power ratings. You have a total of 6 pips, which I can't do that while I'm docked, but we're going to launch here in just a second. We're going to talk about that. But you can, you know how you've watched shows and played games where they increase the power to the engine or the systems, the computer systems, or systems control shields, scanners, things like that. Obviously, engine is your thrusters and your frame shift drive, and weapons is self-explanatory. You've got 4 choices. The RST is to reset that to even. You've got 6 pips total. As you can see, I've got 4 in engine, I've got 1 in system, and 1 in web. Well, I can reset that to put 2 in each, so it balances everything out. Fuel, right now I'm burning no fuel, and I'm fully loaded in fuel. My landing gear is deployed, and I am mass locked, which means I cannot enter hyperspace. I can't use my frame shift drive as long as I'm max locked. And my cargo scoop is not deployed. So that's your interface basically right in front of you. You also have a panel here, which if you are in multiplayer, if you've got fighters, if you've got pilots that some ships have a fighter bay, even cargoes. I mean, it doesn't have to be a carrier, but some of the ships that you can purchase has a fighter bay, and you can control that from this screen here. I don't know what SRB is. Crew, I don't have any crew with me in this. We'll give you information on this panel and how to utilize that. When you land this is what you're going to see when you land at any starport or ground station. Carriers are a little bit different interface. You could do your basic just repairs, restock ammo, and fuel from this screen here. Let's go ahead and go back to the surface, because right now I'm in the hangar. This is actually the inside of the starport, and as you can see, that green thing there, that green hologram, that's what the starport looks like. Okay, so let's take a look since we're and you can move around once you get into camera mode and you release your camera mode. You can look around, and if this gives you any indication of how big this starport is, it has a road with vehicles riding on it all the way around. And some starports you can even see like green residential areas where they've got like gardens and shit. But I haven't seen that in a while. That was in the training area. I don't currently see any other ships docked. All right, there's my ship. So you can get a decent look at it from the outside. Let's go. And that's what my ship looks like. And you can see my character in the pilot seat. And you can even see, if you get too far out of the way though, there's my shield booster hanging out the bottom there. That's supposedly where I get in and out. There's my point defense turret. My weapons, you can't deploy weapons inside of a you can't deploy weapons inside of it. Well, you can, but you'll get a very, very violent response if you do. So we're going to go ahead and launch. And once I get out of here, we'll talk about the maps. You can get fines. Yeah, there are speed limits and such around starports, and depending on which starport you see, there's a ship right there, Federal Security Force. And as long as the ship is in front of you, you can some information about them. I'm going to go ahead and throttle up. That's going to take me out of auto launch. And as you can see, I'm speeding. And the green icons are because I am friendly with these folks, the federal forces, or the imperial forces rather. Okay, I'm no longer mass locked, so if I wanted to right now, I could enter hyper or super cruise, or I could target another system and fly to another system. That is the Witchhead Nebula. Um, some dude's ring. I forget what those nebulas are called, but we're gonna get away from the station here. I'm gonna hit my thrusters, and I've left the no fire zone, as you can see right there. And as you can see, my engine gauge drops as I hit my thruster. So I'm going to go ahead and enter Super Cruise, and we're going to talk about the maps and everything else. But your HUD, unidentified signal sources, they could be anything. And yes, the massive planets will affect your speed if you're close enough and they're on the same plane as you. And there's so much stuff in systems. They used scientific data for years to develop this universe, this galaxy. And I have to tell you, it's amazing. So let's go ahead and throttle down. That's not going to take me out of Super Cruise. As you see the yellow lines on the side, and you can see my speed. The lowest speed in Super Cruise is 30 kilometers per second. That's pretty fucking fast. So let's take a look at the galaxy map. See, there's some other ships. Those are federal, and they look like they're chasing somebody. Let's go ahead and target him. And your information screen over here on the side will tell you about that person, whether they're wanted, like that ship right there, that they're Aisling Guardian. They're a competent battle. I don't know what clean means, but they're in a wing. So apparently that's probably the other. The name of their ship is Afternoon. It's a Cobra Mark III. The person's name is Natalia Babarkova. I don't know if that's probably an NPC. I don't know, but they're an expert at combat. I don't understand what clean means. I guess that means they have no warrants against them, because if it doesn't, the only other thing I've seen that say is wanted, and they are a member of the Prismatic Imperium. So that's which is the name of the empire that. All right, there's a convoy dispersal pattern. Okay, so let's change. There's another ship. Who's that? That's a hauler. The curly one, that's probably a player. Novice. QBO Silver Advanced Industries is who they are a part of. So I don't know if that's a player or not, to be honest with you. All right, let's untarget. So first thing let's talk about is switching fire groups. With a certain button combination, which I don't know what VR headset you guys use, you can play this game outside of VR, by the way. You don't have to play it in VR. If you don't have a VR headset, it's still playable outside of VR. You just make that choice when you load up the game. If you're in Steam, then there's a choice as soon as you, which I'm playing through Steam. Fire groups. First, well, you know what? While I'm looking at it, let's talk about power distribution. So as you can see, I now have even balanced out my power supply to all of my various systems. I can hold my Oculus X and then use my right joystick to adjust my power supply where I want it to be. I stay in engine unless I'm coming in. I keep my engine unless I'm in combat. and then I just balance everything out, and I go 3 WEP and 1 everywhere else. Well, 1.5 between engine and sys. As you can see, 1 is kind of a lighter color orange there, but that's my combat profile. All right, and this is my normal flight profile. So now we're going to talk about fire groups. Fire groups, same thing, Oculus Y, and you press the right grip, and that changes your that changes your fire group. And as you can see, some of them is red and it says switch mode. Well, with Oculus X, you switch the mode. Now we're in analysis mode, and that's where your discovery scanner, composition scanner, and your D-Link. Your D-Link is what you use when you come up to a structure like a space station, and you scan the station for the various components, like power capacitors and turrets and cargo bays and fighter bays and all that stuff, and you can target individual systems of that structure. But your D scanner, when you first come into a system that's unknown, which this system is, I've already scanned, I have everything Art has already discovered, but press and hold whichever trigger you have that assigned to, and it tells you how many orbit, it gives you the orbital plane that's established. Let's go ahead and turn on orbit lines, and we'll show you what orbit lines are. Okay, like I'm looking at QB05, and it shows me that orbit line for QB05. There's QB02, follows the same orbit line. But after you have scanned a system with your discovery scanner, I'm going to turn those orbit lines back off. All right, once you've scanned that, then you open up your, I think it's the full, it's called the FSS, the full spectral scanner or whatever. And that's what this interface looks like. And it's basically, you have a radio telescope and you can find certain signals, like the ones that have the little radio line like that at the low end of the spectrum. Those are those unidentified signal sources. And if you see how it's a dotted line, that means I'm not tuned in exactly with that signal. So using your right stick, you adjust to the proper signal, and you see a bunch of them show up within your scan panel. And as you keep moving around, you'll find more and more, because there are 138 signals in this sector. Now see, that one right there is a dotted line, so that means I'm not quite fine-tuned into it. So you just move your right, the left joystick is what moves you around, and the left moves you, and the right adjusts your signal. These are Earth-like worlds, the green dots in this section, down in this, and if you look at the bottom right for signal analysis, it'll tell you what items you're going to find in that spectrum, in that end of the spectrum. And concentrated signal sources are all of those detected signals. I've already discovered all 7 of 7 bodies, which, like, that's an ice, there's ice worlds, we're in the ice world range here. And the little carrots above this is how you fine tune it, and I'll explain that to you when we get into a section or a system that is not discovered. Everything puts off a radio signal, including all of these. These are all carriers. And you can get all the information about a carrier without ever actually having to go to it. It tells you what facilities are there just by scanning it with your full spectrum scanner, I think is what it's called. But it tells you what facilities they have. If you need to get repairs, you can scan a carrier. Some of them don't offer repair. Like this guy doesn't have a shipyard. No outfitting. You can't change your livery or your weapons. They don't have a black market, and they don't offer bounty, or they don't offer credits for any exploration. This, if you hit the Oculus B, that will bring up kind of like a little, that there is full spectrum system, but that will bring up a little kind of help thing to tell you how to use it. So that's that. The once you've got something in your crosshairs, like there's 4 icy bodies here, or QBO4 rather. I'm sorry, I thought this. It'll tell you what resources are on that planet, and yes, you can land on some planets and collect resources. Not every planet is landable, but some of them are. This is a high metal content world, so if you need metal, I've never pulled resources off of a planet yet. I don't know how to do that. Oh, SRV. That's what that was on the panel there. That's, I remember now. It's Surface Recon Vehicle. I've never done anything on the planets other than land at certain bases. Right trigger gets you out of that screen. But these are, and you have stepping zoom with your grip buttons, so you can zoom in if there's multiple signals close together like those 3, so you can target an individual signal. All right, in the full spectrum system, or full whatever it's called again. What's that called again? Full spectrum system, yeah. So many. This game is so detailed, but let's find some of these signals and see what we've got. All right. Okay, if you look over to the right, you'll see it says activity salvage. So we're going to target this. How far away is it? All right, it's 3,700 light seconds away. So we're going to go ahead and target that, and we're going to exit the scanner, and we're going to go there, and we're going to show you what salvage threat level means, that nobody's going to attack you if you go there. It's safe. So let's exit the scanner, and if you look at the pulsating blue, well, it's not pulsating now, but the little round to the left, just right above the little red thing that says 28 degree or 28%, that's your hull heat. All right, I'm emitting 28% heat signature is what that means basically. I'm sure I'm not saying that exactly right, but that little round orientation globe looking thing next to it with the blue dot, that's how you find your target. If it's a solid dot, that means it's in your frontal cone. If it's a circle, an empty circle, then that means it's behind you. It's in your rear zone, your rear. So that's where we want to go with that. So we're going to throttle up. We're already in Super Cruise. And this is what helps you keep targeted in when you're going to certain places. I'm going to enable what's called Super Cruise Assist, which will drop me out exactly where I need to be. I don't have to. You can use the panel, the information panel to the left here. You see distance and speed. Well, I'm picking up speed. I'm still more than 13.8 megameters away. And you will steadily increase speed. That's what I think this control was for. The hyperspace dethrottle. I'm going to turn that off and test that theory. Because what will happen is, even if I have Super Cruise Assist turned off, and I'm not using Super Cruise Assist, and that's just another star in the system. But even if I'm not using Super Cruise Assist, my speed will continue to drop. And if you don't understand astronomical speeds, right now I'm traveling at 17.18. You see it increasing there. Those are light years. The C is Latin for Polaris, or also means constant. That is how light years are measured in a vacuum. So I'm traveling at 25 light years per second. and my speed will steadily increase. But what I was saying about that hyperspace D throttle, it didn't make any sense to me why, if I had if I wasn't using the Super Cruise Assist, my ship would continue to slow. It wouldn't stop. It will give me a warning to slow down, and I won't throttle back until I get into mega meters. Controls are very, very, very responsive. Your left controller, let me go ahead and throttle down here for a minute. Throttle back a little bit. Your left controller, when you're in Super Cruise, adjusts you left and right, and that's your right controller. Your left controller, right, I'm slowing down. Your left controller will control your yaw and roll and or pitch and roll, and then your yaw is controlled by. As you see, I'm coming up on this pretty quick, and now as you can see my distance, once it gets in the blue zone, I can drop out of if I'm going slow enough. So I'm going to slow down a little bit more, and I want to keep my speed indicator just a little bit to the right of the distance, because as you can see, my speed window to drop out of Super Cruise is much larger than my distance window. So I want to get there as quick as possible. So I'll keep hitting your right grip is what controls your thrust, is your throttle up, and your left is your throttle down. So I'm within speed to drop out, but I'm not close enough to my target. So now it's going to say, for me, all right, we're going to come to a stop. All right, for me, it is to drop out. It's my Oculus X and my up on my right joystick will drop me out of Super Cruise. And if you press and hold any button, it will tell you what comes. See where it says Super Cruise, Maps, and Hyperspace Jump. Silent running, and you can turn Flight Assist on and off. Flight Assist, you don't want to turn that off. Let me show you why. Because if you're see how you keep rolling in whatever direction. I mean, Flight Assist is more realistic. Flight Assist being off is more realistic. But your stabilizers and your attitude jets will not function automatically, and you can see them burning. See the green? Let's and yes, you can hit that trash, and but once you stop, your Flight Assist will kick in and adjust your attitude and everything automatically. All right, so there's a bunch of stuff here to salvage, and as you look around, which I'm not sure how this. And yes, you can go in reverse also. The same left grip that throttles you down if you hit it again will put you in reverse, and right grip, hit it again, and it'll zero you out. But as you look around with your HMD, if you're in VR, you can see the various. See them on your scanner. Now your right in when you're not in Super Cruise, your right will also control your up and down. That helps you when you're landing. But in Super Cruise, it only controls your yaw. So we're going to target one of these. Let's find the closest one that's not around a bunch of other stuff, like that one right there. That is galvanizing alloys. Now, this is how you collect those items that we talked about earlier, the materials that you need to create upgrades, but you have to have an engineer to do that. All right, so I'm 587 meters away, so I'm going to go ahead and speed up. Let's go ahead and deploy my Let's stop for a minute so you can look at what I'm doing. Oculus X, and up on the left joystick will deploy my cargo scoop. And again, press and hold. If you press and hold the Oculus X, it shows you what, if I want to turn on my ship lights. The only way to turn on your night vision is that I mean, I can reprogram the keys, but as you can see, there's your night vision. You can see how much more clearly, let's turn that off again, items get outlined. Let's turn off the external lights are off, okay. But it helps identify smaller items, okay. And if you look over here on the right at where your typically what your target hologram is, when your cargo scoop is deployed, that's what allows you to zero in on the item that you're trying to collect. Now, you want to stay below 40, I'm guessing that's meters per second. Right now we're traveling 6, but you want to stay below and keep that centered in the crosshairs. And then as it gets closer, you can just throttle down, and I have now collected galvanizing alloys. So let's go ahead and pick up that one. Now, some of these things, you can also open up your contacts panel, and it will show you everything there's tobacco, consumer technology, wine, and some of this stuff is actual cargo that you can sell at a base, at a starport. And you can hear a beeping, and the more precise you get on your target, the lighter the tone is. And you don't have to throttle down. But this is how you collect. Where's that? There it is. Canister of tobacco. Hear the beeping. That constant boom, boom, that means that you're in proximity of something. But the lower beeping is your targeting. And the lower the pitch, the more precise your target is. Okay, so if you look in see the proximity alarm at the top here, showing that you're within proximity of something. Now let's take a look at the inventory. See, now I have the consumer technology, it's stolen. That means this stuff has to go to a black market somewhere. I don't even know if there's a black market in this system, but we're going to scan and find out. It should give you information. I'm going the wrong way. This is illegal salvage. I don't know why it would be illegal. It's so. But you can also target using this screen as well. You can also add them to your door list so that you won't target those items. like I said, stay under 40, otherwise you're going to completely miss your target. Even if you're dead center on the, even if you have the item dead center in your reticle or reticule, you will miss it. Let's see. So, and sometimes you can find occupied, but those won't be salvage. Those will be distress calls. But you can find occupied escape pods. And you can see the distance on the tag there, as well as on that screen in front of you. All right. So retract the cargo scoop, and we're going to jump back into Super Cruise. Oh, wrong button. And you cannot jump into frame. You can't jump into Super Cruise. All right. Or hyperspace. If your landing gear is down, your weapons are deployed, you can't jump into hyperspace. So what we're going to do is we're going to slow down in Super Cruise to our minimum speed, because that's the only time you can use your full spectrum scanner or full spectrum system. And we are going to, let's see about finding those. See, where anything that has the little radio signal thing on it, any of those things are, that means there's still items of those to be discovered. And those are concentrated signal sources. Oh, looks like somebody's, I got company. He's going to try to, that guy right there. And he's an NPC. And he's probably going to target me with what's called an interdictor. And try to pull me out of Super Cruise. Unfortunately, I don't have what's called an FSD interdictor. It's a frame shift drive interdictor. And if he does, I'm going to let him target me so you can see what happens. See, he's getting behind me. See the little square back there? See, this is, and as long as I stay on the escape vector and fill up that blue bar before the red bar fills up, then I will evade him. But he's trying to pull me out of Super Cruise. I don't have one of those weapons because I haven't. So I evaded his interdiction. So let's go ahead and slow back down again. He may try again. I've never had them try twice. Once I evade, I'm not sure what that pulsating, maybe it was because he was attacking me. I don't know. But let's go back into the full spectrum system and let's discover what the rest of these radio signals are. Okay, there we go. Now, the icon, the 3 carets above it, as long as you are, you can see those on the outskirts of your scanner. Let's go up to where we know one. Now, once it's a solid bar, there's multiple signals of that type in that. See the ring around the lighter ring outside the darker one? That means there are multiple signals, so you're going to zoom in to that area. and then see the 3 carats like in the upper right hand corner of that scanner. That matches the signal that I'm trying to acquire. And you can see it's a solid. And this is mercenary work. There's the Silver Mountain Clinic, and they're mercenaries. I don't know what that is. I've never been there, but as you can see, those signals are all gone. I've acquired all of those, and there are 6 of those total. This is probably bounty. No, that's salvage as well. Now, when you're focused on it, you can see who that belongs to and how long that signal will remain. So we're going to target, that's high grade emissions. That could be something awesome. I don't know. It's only 6,500 light seconds away. We're going to target it. And now, as you can see on the little pulsating blue HUD over there on the left, let's go ahead and speed up. And just to show you, once you have a target, if you go into navigation, let's find it on the list. And it will have a little icon next to it that shows it's your target. Where is it at? Let's throttle down a little bit here. I don't want to overfly it. And it's 4,600 light seconds away, so it's going to be, there it is, right there. Select it. You can either target a certain thing with this screen, or turn on your Super Cruise Assist, or look at the system map. And once you have something dead in front of you and you turn on Super Cruise Assist, you don't have to worry about flying. It'll drop you out of Super Cruise and everything right at your destination. I've got 30 minutes on this signal. Who knows what this is? But same thing with any of these items, and you can get information about them as well. These are anything that has the little galaxy symbol next to it, which is kind of hard to see because I have a shitty HMD. Those are systems, but everything within your range is going to be at the top of, that's in this system, I should say, is going to be at the top of the list, with the closest things being first. This is where I'm closest to this item now, so that's what the blue indicator is, and that is a carrier. Now I'm closest to this carrier, and this will constantly change. And somebody's got a carrier name, that's no moon. But these are all the carrier names and their ID numbers is what this is. And if you select any of these, because I'm traveling so, and if you move off target, your Super Cruise Assist will deactivate. It'll stay active in the background unless you target something else. If you target something else, it'll shut off. But for example, Alderman Station, if you select it, it's a starport. Offers safe harbor and a series of services to pilots granted docking access. Check the system map to confirm which services are provided by this particular starport. And it is aligned with Prismatic Imperium, which means I'm friendly with them because, as you can see, my relationship is friendly. It has appropriate landing pads. Some starports don't have, for example, small landing pads, which means I couldn't dock there. Oh, I just realized my zoom level on my scanner is, I keep it right about there unless I'm in combat. Then I like to zoom in so I can get, but you can do the same thing with carriers. You can select a carrier and get information about them, that carrier. All right, we're almost at our location, so we'll talk about maps and how to utilize those. You will have to use, I'll go ahead and show you for example, the system map. Left trigger zooms out. That's my home station. That's Medupe City or whatever it's called. This is where I'm headed. Next to this planet here, which is where that high grade emissions is. That's Kubio 4. Some planets you can zoom all the way in on if they're landable. Those you cannot because they don't. And you can tell which ones you can land on. They'll have that little kind of blue crescent in the upper left-hand corner of them. And when I say zoom all the way in, that means you can zoom into them and you can rotate around. You can see what systems are there. At this point, if you wanted to plot a route or select them, bookmarks. Oh, I'm dropping out of Super Cruise. All right, so let's throttle down. Oh, accidentally went in reverse. All right, full stop. Let's take a look at our contacts and see what we have here. Proto-radiolic alloys. And these are materials that will go into, as I said, the materials list here. And I don't think I've ever discovered any of these. So let's go ahead and drop out the cargo scoop. Now these, there's nothing illegal about collecting this stuff that I'm aware of. Go ahead and speed up. And see how it turns red? That means even though it's targeted, even if I'm dead in, I've got it deadlocked, it's just going to bounce off the cargo scoop and go. It's going to go flying, and it'll be destroyed. Probably, more than likely, it'll be destroyed, and you won't be able to collect it. So, and it takes a little practice. I don't care how much flight sim time you've got. I don't care how many space sims you play. It takes practice to get these things, especially if you're going to collect them at high speed. And yes, if you hit them with your ship at the right speed, you can destroy them. If you're below destruction speed, then you will they'll go hurtling off into a different direction, and you'll have to chase them down. So, new material discovered. Proto-radiolic alloys. And they're alphabetical. That was the first one I collected. That was also a new, this is the second one. And if you select them, it'll tell you very rare manufactured material. It's a lightweight alloy specialist component developed during economic boom, known to be salvaged from signal sources. These advanced alloys use radiation to form complex materials. It tells you where you can find them and what their known uses are. So they're used on ships as chaff. So if you want to if you have a chaff launcher and you're in combat, you can use that material to rearm your chaff launcher. And that type of synthesis your ship does on its own. You don't have to have an engineer. There it is. Let's say it's going to be right there somewhere. All right. So that's that. And that's pretty much all you can do here. There's nothing. See, let's go ahead and turn off night vision. But there's nothing on this ship. I can't data link with it. There's no components to destroy. I just was wondering if my composition scanner would kick in, but no, apparently not. I can't even target those. But I wonder if I can. Let's go ahead and change. I'm not going to destroy that. Let's back up a little away from it. But there's my lasers. That's my cannon. Something behind me I'm about to run into. Let's take a look. I don't see anything like super close. Maybe, I mean, it was flashing like it was like right up. Anyway. But apparently my missiles aren't going to fire because they're seekers and there's nothing to seek. So apparently you can't destroy this either. And now my cannon's reloading. I have 95 rounds left for my cannon, and it will only hold 5 at a time. But my beam lasers aren't. And as you can see my weapons dropping. But see how fast it fills up once you allocate more power to it. So that's why when I'm in combat, I like to keep 1.5 on my systems and my engines, and my weapons get a full 3 pips. But again, you only have 6 pips to utilize, so I've got 1.5 in each system and engine and 3 in WEP. So that's, you gotta, and that comes from your power distribution or your power distributor, and that's something that can be upgraded. I think I'm upgraded as high as I can get right now at the moment. All right, so let's retract our weapons and go back to scanner mode. Let's redistribute my power. All right. Oh, I forgot my cargo scoop is. And before your frame shift, before your super cruise, you have to be at full throttle to engage your super cruise or your hyperspace. All right, and once you're in super cruise, then your scanner will kick in, and we're gonna slow back down again, and let's take a look at the maps now. Your system map, as I showed you, that's with the Oculus. It's Oculus X with your right joystick. Use your right, go left on your right joystick. How's that sound? So your right trigger, or your left trigger rather, will zoom out. Every one of these little icons you see are player, well, most of them are player carriers. The round ones are planets like this, and as I said, that's the only planet in the system that you can land on. These are starports, various stations, and you can see who the controlling factions are in the information screen that pops up, and it moves really slow. So it moves faster the faster you zoom out. There's the Kubio Pachins Principles, owns those 2 stations. Now that is an orbital station, and if you want information about that, that comes over to this screen here. And this is where, again, you have to use your mouse. And I'm going to zoom out to stay focused on that one. Because my HMD, if I stop using my mouse, my HMD will continue to move around. And as you can see, oh, no, let's zoom back in. There we go. That way, it's hard to stay focused on, there we go. All right, and your grip buttons will switch between panels, or you can use the mouse. All right, that station does not have a black market, and I have to have a black market in order to get rid of those stolen items. All right, you guys are gonna have to give me a moment, and I will be right back. And pausing, I'm not sure exactly why they have a pause, but pausing will you will continue to fly. So if you're in Super Cruise, it's going to continue to go to your destination. I don't know if anybody can attack you in that or not, but I will be right back. Get some more coffee. I don't know if you guys can hear me when I'm getting more coffee. Okay, I'm back. Let me get back into position here. And then another thing I don't like about this is if I pause the game and take off my H in my headset, it will reset back to my, I don't know why it does this, because I reorient it, and as you can see, I'm now looking at the back of, well, the kind of the side of my ship. Let me get my controllers on, and as you can see, even though I'm paused, we're still flying. We still got stars moving around. And yes, you can look all around your ship. There's, if you go into Hollow Me while you're in the ship, which is where you can set up your character's looks and all that good stuff, if you, then that's where it takes place, is back there. And I'll show you that in a minute. So let me pop out of this and bring, I don't know what you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm bringing the panel back over here so I can reset my view. There we go. All right. But as I said, you can look all the way around your ship. All right. Nothing. This is a, rarely will you run into anything dangerous in this sector, or this system rather, because this is, the blue line you see on the throttle on the right hand side of your sensor display right there, that blue line is your optimal turning speed. All right, so we're gonna throttle back down. No idea what Silver Plateau Health Service is. All right, let's talk about the galaxy map. Now you have, let's zoom all the way out first so you can get an idea of the immense, yes, this entire map is playable if you have the resources to get where you want to go. But yeah, the whole thing is playable. This is the Inner Orion Spur. This is where you start off, is in this region of the galaxy right here. There's the Outer Orion Spur, Achilles, and the name of each pops up on the top of the screen there. Sanguinis Rim, Elysian Shore, Vulcan Gate, Hey, you know what? Maybe we can go see Spock. But let me zoom in a little slowly so you can get. I mean, let's go to the center. Do you see the concentration, the density of stars? Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's supposed to be a super black hole at the center of our galaxy. Apparently, there's not one here. But let's zoom in. Every one of these systems you can travel to. Okay, obviously there's no information about them because I've never been there and I haven't. There are nobody within the Imperium that has been there to sell information. All right, so let's go back to Inner Orion Spur, which is where Earth is located, and if it's over this way. All right, those orange tags you see right there. Let's get up on the same plane, and there are coordinates on the map. As you, the center is your vertical, and I don't know how to read star charts, so I couldn't tell you. But there's Barnard's Loop, Orion Nebula, the Witch Head Nebula, and the Horsehead Nebula. Those are the ones we were seeing in the distance. I couldn't remember the name of, but that's those. And this is to scale, people. All right, so let's back up to that training level so you can see. Zoom in, and all these, this is where you start out. All those little sectors with the Pilots Federation tag on them. It says allegiance none, but if you notice at the bottom, it says that it requires a Pilots Federation district permit. Yeah, to get in any of those systems. I didn't mean when I left the training area, I didn't mean to. I didn't realize that I was going to be leaving. But between Matet and what's the other one? I can't think of Dromi. Between Met and Dromi or Dromi, whatever it is, those are the two systems you start off in for training and whatnot. So, and then you can travel to the rest of them and do trade and your relationships don't carry once you've left there. But you can get information about each sector that you've ever been to, or you purchase information on. Even though I've never been there, you can still open up the system map. But that's what Matet looks like. And there's one station in Matet, which is Coelho Station. The lines you see are trade lines, and we'll talk about that more of that in a moment. And you can turn all of that stuff off and on. I'm looking for something specific, and I can't remember where it's at. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right. All right, that's where I'm at now, is Kubio. The Desiat and Hathis. Hathis is where there is a campaign going on right now. Like I said, there's so much information about the world, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Desiat, I'm looking for the other one. There it is, Wolf 397. Remember, if you remember it earlier, I showed you the engineer section. One was Felicity Farseer. Desiat is her home system, and Wolf 397 is Todd, whatever McQuinn, whatever his name is, the other engineer that I have to collect items for, and they're supposed to tell me. And you get messages once you leave the training area; they immediately send you messages. Okay. Lucas Dark Region A and B, well, region and region B. Those aren't too far. You could actually travel to those. But the information that you collect through your your FSS, that information can be sold at different stations as long as the information, as long as the data is more than 20 light years away from the station you're trying to sell it at, they'll buy it. And depending on how detailed it is and whatnot, then let's go ahead and drop down to where I'm at. I really wanted to I wanted to find Saul, and I forget. I think it's up. There's the North American Nebula. Yeah, it's up and over here. I'm still good. It's over close to the training area. It's not right at it. But in case you don't know anything about the galaxy, Sol is the name of our star system. Our sun, that's our sun's designation, is Sol, S-O-L. And as soon as I find some, I don't know why it's so hard to find this. I've been to like Zirla and a lot of these already. That's why I don't know why it doesn't have any description. It should have a description right there because I've been there. But anyway. Here we go. Alright, we're back where I'm at. The yellow tag at the top is I have QBO set as my comparison, my commodities comparison. And that's what these lines are, is the commodities that are being brought into and out of that sector. And let's get over here on QBO. And I have a ship stored there, my adder is stored there, and you can also bring up the realistic map and get rid of the power play map. Shows you all the various factions. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. As you can see, QBO is the headquarters of Aisling Duval, which I don't know if there's other factions. There's Saul right there. But anyway, I don't know if there's other factions. This is the power play map. The yellow or orange shield icons are systems that Aisling Duval has already reached the trigger point for fortifying. Dude, the political scene in this whole game is crazy. But the white ones are ones that still need to be fortified. They haven't reached their fortification trigger point. And other factions, players that work for other factions, can try to undermine her control in these various systems. And that works with all of the various factions. And as you see, there's different colors and who controls what. Get back in the map here. Okay, right now I'm only looking at Aisling Duval, so let's look at. I can't look at all of them. There we go. Now let's zoom out. now you can see much more clearly the various systems and who controls them. Archon Delane, I don't know who that is. That's who controls this dark green. In this section, we've got Denton Patriots. And if you want to know about these folks, if you go to your home screen on your left or your right panel and select Galactic Powers, you can see who each one of them represents: Federation, Empire, Alliance, or Independent. And you can get more information about each of them. Um, Preparation, this is what I was talking about. I'm sorry, expansion, nothing expand. Control, preparation, this is what I was talking about. Um, where you undermine, or she's getting ready to prep, getting ready to take over some of these systems. And you collect materials from the contacts in systems that they control, which in this case would be Cubio, the system of Cubio, which is her headquarters. And you want to prepare these systems to expand into. Currently, no systems were prepped last time either by players, and this is all done by players in the game. So there are no systems to expand. But if I go and collect the materials that the propaganda materials, they call it Aisling media materials. But if I collect the propaganda materials and I take them to, for example, hit 572, which is 21.23 light years away, I need 10,639 of those propaganda materials, which I can only carry 36 at a time because of my cargo hold. But because I have no vote right now, and I'll show you what that means right now, because I just pledged today. See, time pledge 0 days. I'm at rating 1. I have a basic rating. I get no consolidation votes. Rating 2, I'll get 1 consolidation vote. The higher rating, the more you get, but you only get 1 consolidation vote. But that's why that's blocked out. So we can prepare each system for expansion, and then, or we can vote to defend, and it depends on what players vote for. Currently, nobody prepared any systems for expansion last cycle, and a cycle is a week, a real time. Control is where you fortify our opposition. Currently, nobody in the Lambda 1 Tukanai system. As you can see, fortification is succeeding. There's a total of 44,832 propaganda materials delivered to this section, and the trigger was only 5,037. I don't know why people keep pumping them in there, because there's no opposition. As you can see, nobody is trying to undermine that system. However, in this system, somebody is trying to undermine this system. But Thursdays, which today is the day that the cycle ends. So next Thursday, if the opposition has reached their trigger of 86-84, which that means they're delivering propaganda materials for whatever senator or power they have pledged to this system. But they can't undermine it. If by Thursday they've reached their trigger, then they will have undermined Aisling's control in that system. But that's the only system that's being undermined that I'm aware of. But as you can see, every one of these has reached their fortification trigger, so that, okay, there's another one that somebody's trying to undermine. I don't know if that's just recently happened, but And it takes a lot, especially if you got a small ship with a small cargo hold. It takes a lot to fortify or undermine. I was taking mine to, which system was I going to? Okay, these are control systems. These are where you can go and pick up materials to take to other systems, or you can drop them off in that system because there's no fortification going on there at all. But as you can see, people have been working on slowly some of these systems, but they have no undermine. This one's almost ready, so it's 49 light years away. Okay, whatever. But that's probably where I will end up taking the propaganda materials in order to fortify that system and reach the trigger. Even though we have no opposition, if we don't reach the trigger, then come next Thursday when this cycle resets, if I read the power play information correctly, then these systems will not be fortified, even though they have no opposition. They won't be undermined either. So what does that mean exactly? I'm not sure yet. I just started getting into the whole power play thing in the past couple of days and started reading about it and everything else. You can get stats, her headquarters based in the Cubio system, how many control systems she has, what's the upkeep, how much control capital she has, and what impact the Empire, Federation, Independent, and the Alliance has on the galaxy, basically. And you can get that information about everybody. Each cycle, like last cycle, Felicia Winters was in slot 11. Zemina Torval was in slot 3. Those are the only two factions that changed in the last cycle. Felicia Winters increased and Zemina Torval fell. So, and you can get more information about them as Starport Galnet News. Same thing when you go to your playlist. Remember the things I have in your playlist? This is where you find that. And that's what the playlist is for, is to play either the news, which you can collect at the next Starport, which we're going to head back to. There's a ship coming in on me. I wonder what there's another one that popped up. Oh, I gotta get out of that. What did I just change? Okay. Alright, well, he's not headed towards me. I thought he was. Oh, he's wanted. He's a bad guy. But his name's Fear. The name of his ship is Fear. The character's name is Utopian Overseer. He is a supporter of Pranav Antal, which is another one of the galactic powers. Right there. And he is an enemy, and he's probably carrying propaganda materials himself. But I don't have, let me get out of this. I don't have an FSD interdictor, so I can't pull him out of Super Cruise. Oh, he just dropped out of Super Cruise himself. Oh, there he is. He went back into it. I'm not sure why he decided to. More than likely, that's a player. And that green ship is a Federation ship. They usually won't bother him unless he stops and harasses somebody. He hasn't scanned me yet. I'm sure he sees me on the sensor following him. He sped up, so I'm going to speed up. He's got a much bigger ship than I do. And he's probably, see, he's picking up, he's getting ready to jump out of the system. Maybe. But there's no way I can catch him. Nope, he's slowing down. But I don't have an FSD interdictor, so I can't pull him out of Super Cruise anyway. All right, we are going to bring up the galaxy map and talk about the galaxy map swarm. All right, so we're going to get out of power play. We're going to go back to the regular map and talk more about commodities. If you scroll down on this screen here, you can select which trade routes get shown and which ones are commercial. Commanders are players. So you can see which ones are used just by commanders, or we can show all. I don't know. Still haven't quite figured out all that yet, but these are the routes used strictly by commanders. I don't know why some of them disappear when I select all, though. You would think that would stay put with all. Because you notice some green ones running from Pergolacaron to Cubio disappear when I select all. The green one. There's quite a big difference there between all and commanders. All right, so let's talk about. As you can see, everything's color coded, and right now I'm looking at everything. But if I want to, let's clear those. If let's say I just want to look at Indium. This is the trade information that I'm aware of for Indium. So HIP 1914 is selling their Indium to Osan. So is HIP 6161. So if I had a cargo hauler, then that would be one possible. That would be one possible choice. Okay, so now we got minerals incoming to Cubio from Lambda 1 to Tucanai and Elanda. And you can tell because the lines are moving from Elandia to Cubio. Now, if we show all, you can see some lines are running out of, like that. I want to say that's purple, but it's not. It's blue. Because let's clear and look at weapons. Okay, it's not weapons, machinery. Okay, some machinery, certain types of machinery is leaving Cubio and going out to some system down there and going to the Hernovakal system. And then Perungaron is sending machinery to Cubio. And you would have to look at individual commodity markets to decide that. All right, but we're in Cubio, so we're going to bring up the system map. And we're going to head back over to Medupe City. turn on Super Cruise. 5,000, 5,200 light years, so it's 46. It's steadily getting closer. There it is. And we're going to turn on Super Cruise. All right. Next, after I go to Medupe City. Oh wait, you know what? Let's stop for a minute. I forgot I've got I have black market items. That's why I was. And I'm sure Medupe City does not have a black market. And that can be found on this screen here. Yeah, see, there's no black market. And this is what they export. These are things that are prohibited. This is what they import. So if you're somewhere else and you have aluminum, this would be a good place to sell it. All right, there is no black market here. So there's probably no black market here either. Carriers, if yeah, see, their black market is disabled. 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 Wow. Now this one does not say black market is disabled. Yeah, it does. I think we're going to be hard pressed to find a black market in this system. Let's go to one of the other factions. I don't think there's any opposing factions here. These two are QPOs. Okay, I don't see black market. I don't see anything disabled here. You know what? Let's check a different system here. I don't have any information about that system. See, I've been to these systems. I don't understand why. I don't have any information about them. Let's look for that. Services, black market. All right, looks like Lambda might have a. See, according to the map, Kubio has a black market as well. So let's these are surface planets and fleet carriers. But I'm trying to find, there's a way that I can determine which system has a black market. Kubio first, Kubio super advanced. guessing it's going to be one of the independent factions. So go back to Weaver Vision here. No, their allegiance is to the Empire. 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 And their allegiance is to the Empire. So it must be no, that's not what I want. All right, let's zoom in. Empire. Now I know it said that there were independent factions in this sector. I'm gonna get out of the sector because this is my home sector and you don't shit where you eat. So let's head over to Lambda Tucane. See what's in this system here. Home Twin Stars Industries. Alright, let's open up the system map for this. Alright, this is a twin star, two-star system. Alright, their allegiance is the Empire. Come on, man. Ah, there's a black market facility right there. And it's a carrier, so we're going to plot a route. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Yep, we're good. Alright, so that's going to take us 2 jumps to get there, which is fine. And you can see Super Cruise deactivated because I targeted something else. Alright, so let's throttle up. And get ready to enter hyper speed. I'm carrying illicit cargo, that's what that tag says. But as you can see, that system is anarchy. So I should be good. And let me see which control it is. Okay, I can't access it in hyperdrive, so we'll have to wait till we drop out. And yeah, you jump right up, and just so you can see what. If you get within so close to that star, as long as it's a hydrogen producing star, and usually I can get right about 60 to 65% heat. But the closer you get to it, the more fuel you're going to scoop per second. but I'm a little bit high right now. But if your heat gets too high, you can see it on the gauge down there, and kind of up here it's black. But if you reach that first marker, your ship's going to start to overheat and start taking damage. But as you can see, my fuel line is going. My fuel is increasing. I don't need fuel right now. I just wanted to show you that you can what the fuel scoop is about. All right, so let's get out of here. And the fuel scoop is automatic. This is an allied power, a lot of high security. So I may be, you know what? What's in this sector here? In this system? There's nothing in the system. Never mind. There's only one body in this entire system. And in case I have to fight my way out, let's get into combat mode. And every one of these dots that you see, those are stars that you can. Those are the other systems you can travel to. This is what I mean. They gathered information, scientific information, astronomical information that's been studied for ages. For years. All right. Where's that damn ship at? Let's slow down. I'll just do it manually. I was going to use Super Cruise Assist, but there's a ship there. And that could be federal forces. There's two ships there. And you'll see my speed line will see it catching up here. And that's another ship. If it's the police force, like I said, this is high security. If they scan me, I'm gonna have to run. Because I'm carrying, like I said, I'm carrying stolen cargo. And yes, I can land on that moon if I choose to. Let's get on the contact screen and drop out of Super Cruise. You can only request docking with a ship when you are within 7,500 meters. But I'm going to go ahead and slow down and auto dock. That's my landing pad. And typically, no, I'm the smaller one. Typically, from what I've experienced, if you come in within regulations, you're not speeding, none of the police force will mess with you. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other ships getting ready to. Yep, somebody scanned me. I don't know who it was, but that could have been another player. Now, I may not even have access to the black market because I don't know what my relationship is with them. I don't even know how to access the black market. Okay, it's obviously not secure trading. And this is just your standard commodities. That's not it. And they've got a 100% tariff, which, if I read that correctly, that means they tax you. They have a 100% tax rate on what that advanced service is. All right, well, I'm welcome here. Tourist commanders are not allowed. Navigation. So how do you see what secure trading says? Yes, that's what I thought. Secure trading sounded like the black market to me, but I got. Well, shit, dude. If you've got a black market, what kind of sense does that shit make? That shit makes no sense. Look, they don't have any available ships, and of course, I'm not storing any of my ships here, but they've got a 100% tariff on this service when they don't even have anything available on that service. All right, so if you're not selling and buying shit, then yeah, see, stolen, illegal. Then why do you even have a black market? Why do you have a shipyard if you don't have any ships available to sell? All right, so we're gonna. There has to be a black market somewhere. Those are the only two outposts on that planet. See, I don't know if that means that. Where am I at now? I'm way over there. I don't know if that means that there's. It doesn't say black market's disabled, but if you look at that carrier, it specifically says that that service is enabled. See, black market under facilities. That one doesn't have one. That one's disabled. That one's disabled. See? I don't understand why. I mean, is that something that you have to purchase when you get the carrier? I don't know because I don't have a carrier. I mean, these could be services that you have to, once you purchase your carrier, you have to purchase what services can be available on your carrier. And then you may have to purchase content. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about. See, I don't know how to find out what services are available at these locations. It says what's prohibited, but why don't they show a list like what services are available there, just like the other ones does? And this is just about the system itself. Black market's disabled. So just because the system is listed as having a black market doesn't mean that the black market has anything. And there isn't a single station that's disabled. It could be that that one carrier is the only one that has a black market enabled, but see, disabled, disabled, disabled. What's the fucking point, man? I mean, I get it. Black markets, it's a black market. It should be hard to find. But if you're going to advertise having a black market, then have a black market. Jesus Christ, man. I didn't look at this other planet up here. See, it doesn't specifically say that it has a black market like the carrier does. I don't even know if there's planetfall facilities that have a black market. All right, where am I at? I'm there. I'm closer to this section than this part of the system. I did look at that one, didn't I? So apparently, the Planetfall icons that look like this have no services. But see, the sad thing is like I said, there's so much in this game, I don't know the half of what's available in this game. And nothing on that planet. I don't even know how to create a settlement or a Planetfall base. There's just so much in this game that locations, no locations. So that probably means there's nothing. So I don't even have to zoom into each one. No locations, no features. No locations, no features. One human location. Oh, and you can tell by looking at the blue thing on it. The blue crescent. That's what that's all about. See, if you look, any of the ones that have locations, it has like a little blip on that. Okay, so that makes things a lot easier. So apparently none of those moons over there, none of these have any bases. So that's good to know. I told you there's so much about this game. So let's see what, and it's, see, Blair Base, I have no idea what services, if any, they offer. So it seems like the only damn ship in this entire disable. So somebody can have a black market active on their carrier. See, this one specifically says black market right there. There we go. All right. And that's the only one that says black market in the whole system. But he has nothing. And he's not buying anything. Whoever the hell it is. Commander Merrick's. I'm guessing that's a player. So, all right, well, there's another one. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that system and see where the black market is here. See, I've yet to find a station that says black market. But even if they had a black market, I'm only cordial with them. See where it says relationship cordial? I'm not friendly. I don't know if I would be able to even access the black market. No locations here. Now, where did that scan go? Refining scan. I don't understand. I must not have scanned this system. Because none of these have the little dots on them. Disabled. Somewhere in this system is supposed to be a black market. Now that one has it. Where did that screen go? I don't get it, dude. Where'd that screen go? That was. That said locations. I mean, this one has a dot on it. And that looks like the only one. Same thing with that. But again, these are those little. There's a big one. Disabled black market. So maybe the ones that don't say that it's disabled, but why would the carriers advertise and say that they have that service and not planets or stations? Disabled black market. There's nothing on those. Where did that damn screen that said locations? Where the hell was that? I know it was on this screen right here. Maybe because I haven't mapped the planet. Or the moon. Disabled. 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 So, where is the damn... None of those planets have dots on them. Or moons, rather. Alright, according to the galaxy map, there's a black market here somewhere. Alright, let's take a look at the... I'm sure I've mapped this sector already, this system. But we're going to... Oh, I thought I was throttled down. check out that outpost. It's only 300 light seconds away. So I'm trying to find my keyboard button. What do we know about this? Now, why in the hell does it not? If I'm on that screen, it should put me right on the. See, it doesn't say anything is disabled. So we'll just go there and see what's what. Longomontanus montanus. I mean, when I was in the training area, I found a black market, and it was so easy to locate and get there and sell the illicit cargo I had. Longomontanus. And the gray targeting things you see in Super Cruise like that, that is another ship's wake where they jumped into Super Cruise or hyperspace or something. And if I had a I don't know what that sound was. And I'll just auto dock. Like I said, I've been practicing, but I'm not going to practice it right now. They don't even have commodities. Yeah, this was a wasted trip. See, those are the only three systems nearby me. that show a black market. That shit makes no sense, dude. Well, let's jump to that system and scan it and see if what we can find. What? Oh, it's 19 light years away. Jesus Christ. Right, where am I? All right, so we're going to plot a course. I thought it was right next to it. There we go. Now I could just eject this cargo, but yep, I knew it. Somebody trying to hijack my cargo. He didn't even speak to me that time. Like two or whatever that is. Salvage. 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 All right. Disable black market. Disable black market. This is not the sector I was planning on being in anyway. But I thought I would check it out anyway and see what was what. And that's what those two signals are, with those two carriers I was just looking at. Wow. Salvage. That's it. All right, that's it. Oh yeah, even if I looked down there, I would have seen all those signal indicators are gone, so I've collected all of them. So it's a time-consuming game, but it is a lot of fun. Let's get away from the sun. Let's get our discovery scanner. 10 bodies. I've already scanned this system. Yeah, all the planets are discovered. The only thing that's here are there's some piracy happening there. Salvage. Some bounty hunting. More bounty hunting. Piracy. See, you would think mercenaries. I don't know what that is. That's a structure of some sort, I'll bet. Yeah, see, I've already scanned those. Scan those then. Salvage. Salvage. And that's just a convoy. It doesn't say anything about piracy, so salvage. So it's just, more than likely, with all the piracy going on in this sector or this system, they'll probably be hit. Another convoy. Salvage. That's it. Salvage. If I ever own a carrier, I'm telling you, I'm going to run a black market. Salvage. 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 I heard weapons fire, so one of these is bounty hunting. Right there. Salvage. Orbis station. See, they have commodities, but it doesn't specifically say. Well, they're loyal to the Empire, so I'm guessing being in Orbis station, they probably are not going to have no carrier way out there. And of course, he doesn't have a black market. You know what? I always forget to close this. You got to hit that key on the keyboard. All right. Yeah, so if you target anything other than your Super Cruise, will disable, will deactivate. And I'm just about there. And I'm going to have to realign because otherwise I'm going to impact. And turning will burn off some speed too. That's crazy. Yeah, so if you're ever I'm coming into anything too hot, just unalign. I have not practiced docking on one of these stations yet, but nobody scanned me. The controlling faction here is HIT 5623 Empire Group, which is a faction I'm not acquainted with. if I do missions for them, then I will gain reputation with them. I I have no idea if they even have. I don't think they have a black market. I really think it would say black market. Slavery. Well, no black market. Nope. Really? Then why is there a power contact here? Let's see what ships they've got. 6 ships. Sidewinder, Hauler, Adder, Dolphin, Imperial Clipper, and the Orca. I'm really thinking about buying this and getting into passenger services as well. I've got my Adder stored at Cubio, which is my current mining ship. I mean, eventually I will upgrade that to one of the, with much larger. Hell, the ship on my Cobra Mark III has more cargo space than that. So I may just end up selling mine. Alright, so apparently see, according to the filters that I have in place right there, services, black market. It's the only thing I've got selected. Oh. See, well, according to this, there's a black market here. But where? There's 7 human colonies on this planet here. See, it doesn't say black market. I mean, is black market the only, our carrier is the only place where a black market can be? Some starports will host a contact providing access to this marketplace where stolen or illegal goods can be sold. I realized that. But apparently, that's not one of them. And you see these two carriers. Nope, disabled. It's Jesus Christ, man. So where's the black market at in this sector? This is so stupid. I'm at this station right here. And they don't have a contact for black market. No. Nothing. And the three carriers all say disabled. Why is this so fucking hard, man? What's over there? What's that? See, I can't get over there anyway. All right. I really don't want to jettison this cargo. Well, I don't have any fines yet, so apparently that person that scanned me at the other station. See, internal security force. There's several of them floating around right there. This is ridiculous, man. If a system says it has a black market, should be labeled somewhere. Think I'm gonna just jettison it. If there's not a black market here, I'm just gonna get rid of it. This is ridiculous. Pardon me. Yep, I got scanned. Hey, there's some greenery. Well, I didn't get slapped with a fine, so I must not be carrying anything too. See, I have tobacco. That's what's in my inventory. But because it's stolen, they won't buy it. Same thing with the wine. See, they don't want my stolen cargo. And I guarantee there's no fucking black market contact here either. Nope. Nothing. So where's the fucking black market? And see, I don't understand why this is listed as a multi-cruise ship. Does that mean it's just like I can have another player come in here? Yeah, see, these are for fighter hangars. All right. I'm done. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna figure out where to sell this stuff, and I will come back to it another time. We're out of here. Where's my damn cursor? What is? There we go. All right, guys, we're out.